Good morning. It's the Daily Office Digest for Friday, Passion Week. We have the Passover in our Old Testament reading. The Passover lamb. Moses calls the elders of Israel together. Take a lamb, kill it, use hyssop. Purge me with hyssop and I shall be clean. Wonder where that came from. The imagery of that. Dip it in the blood of the basin. Strike the lintel and the two side posts. The portal, entryway, exit way. Blood. Talking about firstborn. Portals. Some human anatomy, I think, going on here with regard to birth. Think in terms, again, of Zipporah and the son before as Moses was coming down to Egypt and having to circumcise the son. Think about circumcision and what that actually looks like, what that entails. And look at that and the covenant and how appropriate that is. Not to be gross, but to understand the picture, to understand the imagery that's being used, even the human body, but also the house. It's a household. Right, all this is attached not to immoral activities, but very much moral activities. What does God want? God uses a household. He redeems the household. He has promised, you shall keep this service. So this is something, do this in remembrance. Jewish sacramentology, if you will. And it shall come to pass when your children say to you, what mean you by this service? You shall say, it is the sacrifice of the Lord's Passover, who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Egypt when they smote the Egyptians and delivered our houses. The people bowed the head and worshipped, and the children of Israel went away and did as the Lord commanded Moses and Aaron, and so did they. I mean, think about, I wonder what the Egyptians were thinking. Like the non-believing Egyptians, like, what are they doing? What serious stuff is going to hit now? I would be a little scared. All these lambs dying. What's going on? God's going to do something big. And of course, Jesus is the great Passover lamb. Just as he is the great son of Israel. The great firstborn. Firstborn of many brethren. Going to be brought forth in his Passover sacrifice of himself. Of the pure and spotless lamb. Think again of Maundy Thursday as well. And how we understand how the Passover connects to the actual Passover event. How does Holy Communion connect and help us participate in the realities of the passion of the cross? It's a question worth asking. I think my friend Dr. Matt Colvin has done some stuff. I haven't read his stuff yet, but I understand that's one of the themes he explores in The Lost Supper. Haven't read it yet. Hope to sometime. But just knowing an interview he had with regard to this kind of gets me thinking about that. Corinthians is kind of heading towards the conclusion. 1 Corinthians 16. Paul is taking up a collection for the saints. It's going to be for Jerusalem. Jerusalem had a famine throughout a lot of the early church's history. James, the bishop, I think there, served during the time of great poverty. When you read James's letter, understand this is a guy who's probably been poor all his life. His family was poor. If he's Joseph and Mary's son, or at least Joseph's son, half-brother of Jesus, if that's what he is, and I think that's what's going on there. Always in poverty, and Paul trying to alleviate that, calling on the churches to help alleviate that. And that was one of those signs pointing to the doom coming upon Jerusalem, by the way, I think. But, the church looking after her own in the midst of that. He's got some travel plans, and he's hoping to come see them if the Lord permits. He's going to hopefully send Timothy, and they need to respect him. Don't despise him because of his youth. I would say, knowing from the epistle to Timothy, but conduct him forth in peace. When he may be with you without fear. Timothy with timidity, and knowing his needs will be met there too, I think, because Corinth has been misbehaving. they wanted to maybe hear from Apollos, or at least Paul wanted to desire Apollos to come to you with the brethren, but his will was not at all to come at this time, but he will come when he shall have a convenient time. So Apollos run around. Might come along later. Watch ye, stand fast in the faith, quit you like men. I love that phrase. King James. Quit you like men. Be strong. Let all things be done with charity. Love. There it is. Charity again. Including with love. Standing fast in the faith. There's faith, right? Quit you like men. Be a man. Be strong. Be very courageous. Stand forth. Continue your spiritual warfare. And that's something we need today. Whenever you actually start a morning, start a day, watch ye, stand fast in faith, quit ye like men, be strong, let all your things be done with charity. There's a good motto for the day, kind of the whole duty of a Christian. Maybe not the complete whole duty, not exhaustive, but a good summary of things. If you do that in a day, and keep that as your mind, keep that focus in your mind in the day, it'll go a lot better than if you didn't. Well, I'll see you later on this afternoon, Lord willing. But I hope you have a good Friday. A good, and we're not quite headed to the Good Friday. But every Friday is an opportunity to consider Good Friday. And thinking in terms of the great glory we have in our Christian life. Talk to you later.